This was last night's park up. Absolutely fantastic view out the window by the bed up into that piece of woodland. Karen thought she saw some deer when we arrived, but I have a feeling that they were hare running in the long grass. Just one building over there in the distance. Extraordinarily quiet and hardly any traffic. We're staying at Albridge, and just by sheer chance we met a gentleman that owns this nature reserve. It's private, this is all his own land, and we're speaking to him and he's just given us a tour. Amazing person, the amount of knowledge he's got about stone circles, ley lines, Roman mythology, and just the origin of names such as the days of the week is extraordinary. And he built this stone circle in the year 2000 at the millennium, and it's aligned with ley lines that cut through Romsey from Ramsey on the Isle of Man. And there's a map over there that shows why this is the centre of certain ley lines that go back to, you know, long before the Romans and the Druids and pagan mythology. And then his land, he's got paths everywhere, and visitors are welcome if they treat it with respect. And the sheer diversity of the woodland, when you consider all of this was probably once upon a time fields, open fields. I think he owns a field over there that's planted with maize behind me, but he's now planted all this woodland, so it's been growing now for the last 25 years. And his knowledge of the plants and what they meant in old mythology, most impressive. Really nice person to meet, and maybe one day we might come back and actually film him for an interview. And here are the ley lines running from Romsey and up to Ramsbury, up to the Holy Island, and then across to Romney Marsh and Hartland Point, and down to St Michael's Mount. And the one that obviously relevant to where we live is Ramsey. A lot of commonality, Romsey, Ramsey. The ley line goes across Oswestry Hill Fort, which is not very far from where we live. And we're roughly between Avebury and Romsey on that red line there. And then he has wildflowers growing everywhere as well. Very, very rare. There's orchids, unusual butterflies. And a rhyme there about the meanings of the days of the week in perhaps Old Norse. I've just taken a walk along the South Downs Way to this viewpoint that I'm standing on, and that's a fairly far-reaching view. Might go a bit noisy now turning to the wind, but we're parked just beyond those two masts up there. Sam's come with me. 7 o'clock, birds singing. Looks a little bit misty over there towards Worthing and Brighton, but this is one heck of a viewpoint. It's called the Slindon Estate, and down there on the really rough hill, really rough road up here, we saw several deer in the fields, and at last it's not so hot. It's actually very pleasant up here. This is a Chartreuse monument, or war memorial, just outside of Brighton. And over there, that's Brighton, and you can see that elevator thing over there. Ooh, wobble, there. Too much zoom, too much zoom. That you can go up and down on. And then just there is the back of the monument to all the people that are buried here. The names are all on the front. And at the front of the memorial there are 3 granite slabs, which is where they were cremated, and they've all got wreaths on them at the moment. So I've just walked here from the Jack and Jill car park. Quite a stroll, a bit puffed out, but it was definitely worthwhile. You know, it's quite an unusual thing to see here. It's not accessible easily by road, you've got to walk to it. And Sam and I, we've just had a stroll. He's been a very good dog. I've actually left him off the lead, which is a rarity for him, so I'm trusting him to behave. But this is set on the hillside, surrounded by bridleways, birds singing. And now I'm going to wander back before it gets too dark, or Karen starts to worry, or the corgi start to worry, or whatever on earth is going to worry about where I am. But I'm a lot closer to Brighton than I expected. In fact, I think Brighton's probably closer to walk to now than where the car park is. Anyway, there you go. If you're ever in the area, parked up by the Jack and Jill windmills, this is definitely worth the walk to come and see. It reminds me of what people did for the rest of us in the First and Second World War. And this is to remember Indian soldiers that fought in the First World War and were treated but died in hospitals over there in Brighton.